officers in Libya, saying that they may amount to crimes against humanity. That's the latest there from the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Navi Pillay. Well, let's get now an update from our web desk on the situation in Libya. Over to you, Nazanin Sadri.
Thanks, Folly. Where things are picking up on social media sites right now, hashtag Benghazi and Gaddafi is trending on the Twitter side. Of course, we're relying on the help of Libyans both inside and outside the country to bring you the latest. The Libyan Youth Movement is a group of activists working from abroad to help get that information from the ground. We've been monitoring them closely. They've just tweeted this: cannot get through to any contacts in Libya. They're also appealing for help. UN Security Council must implement a no-fly zone over Libya to protect our people. The Libyan people call for an end to Gaddafi. The world has no role to play but support them, and you're failing miserably. Libyan for Life posted this: switchboard to barracks in Tripoli, Libya. Call and ask them to stand with the people. And Ali says, two things are useless today: Gaddafi and the United Nations. Well, phone lines are quite slow as well as filtered from Libya, but those outside the country are trying to get in touch with friends and family as and when they can. Naima Khalifa is a Libyan living in the US state of Tennessee. She's been speaking to her family in both Tripoli and Benghazi via the so-called Magic Jack internet box. She described to us how the system works to get around those curbs.
It's an internet device that it's called Magic Jack, that you can hook it to the telephone and make phone calls. It has the US phone numbers. The connection, though, is very, very weak, and I can barely hear them. And it's on and off. I can use it. If you can use it on and off, sometimes the line disconnects in the middle. I called my sister in Tripoli, and they're being very terrified. They hear that fighter jets bombing the city of Tripoli and attacking any gathering in the streets, anybody on the streets. They're attacking them.
Of course, we're relying a great deal on footage sent in using mobile phones from inside the country. We're putting all those on our website and live blog as and when we get them. We cannot, of course, independently verify them, but take a look for yourselves. That's at aljazeera.net/English. I'll have more from the world of social media in the next hour, but for now, it's back to you, Folly.
Thank you very much, Nazanin. Let's now catch up with sport. Here's Rahul with the latest.
Folly, thank you very much. F1 drivers have praised the decision to postpone the Bahrain Grand Prix due to the unrest in the Gulf nation. After a week of speculation, the Crown Prince finally announced the race wouldn't be taking place at the start of the season. Andrew Potter reports.
The Bahrain International Circuit should have been hosting the opening Grand Prix of the 2011 Formula One season in just under 3 weeks' time. Instead, these stands will sit empty as the country's political unrest makes its first major impact on the international sporting world. The decision came from the very top, the Crown Prince.
We felt it was important for the country to focus on immediate issues of national interest and leave the hosting of Bahrain's Formula One race to a later date.
Since its first running here in 2004, the Bahrain Grand Prix has been by far the biggest sporting event in the country, putting the tiny Gulf state on the international sporting map, and it's also a massive money earner for Formula One. Motorsport reporter Will Buxton has just returned from Bahrain.
It's an absolutely huge decision, and the Grand Prix has been the baby of the Crown Prince of Bahrain for some time. It was his love, it was his passion for the sport that brought it to Bahrain in the first place. So the decision on his part to cancel the race was a big one, but I feel the right one.
With so much cash and prestige at stake, there's already talk of rearranging the race towards the end of the season in November. But in Bahrain right now, nobody's looking that far ahead. Andrew Potter, Al Jazeera.
Well, England are playing their first match of the Cricket World Cup right now. They're taking on the Netherlands in Group B in Nagpur. The Dutch are a huge underdog, but they've had a reasonably good start, currently 58 for 2 off 12 overs. Football now. 4 more of Europe's top teams are gearing up for a return to Champions League action. Under pressure Chelsea travel to Copenhagen for the first leg of their last 16 tie, while Lyon hosts Real Madrid. Meanwhile, in Spain, Real Sociedad kept alive their hopes of qualifying for Europe next season. Raúl Tamudo got the only goal as Sociedad beat Mallorca 1-0 to move up to 7th in the Primera División. There was a surprise on the first day of the Qatar Ladies Open. 7th seed Agnasia Radwanska was knocked out. Radwanska, seen here at the top of the screen, went down 7-6, 6-3 in Doha to the unseeded Lucy Safarova. of the Czech Republic. That's your sport. More in an hour.
Thank you very much, Rahul. Coming up next on Al Jazeera, more news, of course, the latest on the situation in Libya. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights now calling for an international investigation into the crackdown on protesters. They're saying that it may amount to crimes against humanity. Do stay with us on Al Jazeera for our continued coverage.
Business Latest is brought to you by Qatar Tourism Authority. Business Latest is brought to you by Qatar Tourism Authority.
14 competing teams, 13 different venues, 3 host nations. Cricket is part of the fabric of life here, and this competition is the pinnacle of the one-day game. We'll be bringing you all the action and reaction from India, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. The Cricket World Cup on Al Jazeera.
Now, the main stories here on Al Jazeera.
From the world to your phone. Al Jazeera Mobile.
East Timor's government has declared it's time for foreign forces to leave the country. But with a frail infrastructure, is this nation prepared to face a future without international support? 101 East at this time on Al Jazeera.
To access a market of 1.5 billion consumers, please push the button. For more power to your global business, invest in Turkey.
This is Al Jazeera.
A very warm welcome to the News Hour live from Doha. I'm Fuli Batibo from the Al Jazeera News Center here in Doha, and also from Kuala Lumpur. Our top stories this hour. Muammar Gaddafi appears on Libyan TV saying he is still in charge. Meanwhile, fighter jets have been bombarded